Alright class, so in this video I'm just going to show you the basics again, just as a quick review to painting in Photoshop. So one thing I would suggest, and I'll show you later on in my in uh, image of my character study, when you bring your character study in, you never want to paint on the actual layer. You want to create new layers to paint in. So just remember that. You never want to paint on your final sketch copy that you bring into Photoshop. You want to always add new layers. So just basics to Photoshop painting. So this is your paintbrush, okay? We're gonna focus on just basics to this. Again, so to make your paintbrush smaller or bigger, you can use your brackets to the right of the P on your keyboard, and that will make your paintbrush smaller or bigger. Or you can actually go up to the paintbrush tab and customize the size within this tab. You can also change the actual paintbrush that you're using. If you're not seeing a paintbrush that you would like to use, you can go to the icon on the top right and check out some of the other paintbrushes that are available for you. When you look at your paintbrushes, just make sure you're aware of the hardness and softness of it. So like one like this would have a hard edge, one like this would have a soft edge. So depending on what you're trying to create, you want to make sure you're using the right brush. Now you can also change that. So for instance, this is like a really hard paintbrush right now, okay? But if I were to bring down the hardness on the tab here, you can see that it gets softer, so I can also customize it that way as well. So color, where would you pick up color? You have your color swatches on your toolbar below. You can click on it and obviously pick up whatever color that you would like to use. And you can actually have two colors going at once. So if I wanted like the pink and the blue open, because I'm using them a lot, I can easily rotate them back and forth. If you're using a drawing tablet, clicking on pressure for opacity, pressure for size. So these little icons are for the drawing tablet. So if you want your pen to be pressure sensitive, they should work on your computer when clicking on them. The last thing I just wanted to quickly go over with you as far as the paintbrush is your opacity and your flow. So your opacity would be when it's 100%, it's opaque. So when you bring it down, it becomes more translucent. So right now, if I were to paint, you can see that it's at full opacity, where if I were to bring it down, it becomes less and it becomes more translucent. So if you were to paint over it, you could see that it's almost like watercolor, right? And then obviously if I were to bring it down further, you could see I could keep layering it over and over again, and that would be opacity. Flow would be the pressure. So right now it's at 100%, okay, where if I were to pull it down, the pressures, it's just going to get a little bit lighter and less pressure, almost like an airbrush, right? So if you think about an airbrush, works a little bit similarly to opacity, but not really at the same time. I usually try to work with them together if I'm trying to paint and I want something to look a certain way. If you wanted to make a straight line, you can click and then hold the shift key down and it will create a straight line for you. So click and hold shift key down if you're trying to create a straight edge on something. All right, so that's pretty much the basics to the paintbrush. Also know that this is your eraser. So if you wanted to go and erase anything, works the same exact way as the paintbrush, right? So you have all of your brushes you can choose from, your opacity, and your flow. All right, so that's that for this video. Keep watching the rest of them to get more information on painting.